All right, the final point I wanted to lay out, which for many cities and counties is the most important point, is ease of use. What we hear most often talking to municipalities and counties is it has to be easy for our applicants to use and easy for us to use. One of the, or I should say, many of the horror stories I'm hearing is because there's a lot of coding in the system, the individual user can't make any changes to their system, right? They have to call someone else to make a simple change like to add a user or remove a user. If there's a building code change or a fee schedule change, they need to call someone. And sometimes they're hearing it's going to be 2 weeks before we can get to that. And that's unacceptable, right? So, one of the things with Clarity is there is no coding in our system. And so you can manage it yourself. We're certainly there to support you, but many times you can make these changes faster than calling us. So let's go into taking a look at that. Okay, so on the back end of the system, we can come down here to our system settings, and you can see even looking right at the users, you have the ability very easily to invite a user or disable a user within the system. Obviously, you have to have a certain level of access in the system to do that. But when we talk about the system settings on the back end, very easy, again, with no coding to do. Here's our community template where you can have access to all the various cities that are users today and see what they've built. So Pompano Beach has a business license system within it. You can look at all the various processes that they've built and whether it's educate yourself and give you some ideas or bring that right in, right, with no coding involved. But coming back up now to our, in this example, our rules engine, this just shows you when we talk about no coding and we talk about customized applications, we can see on the left-hand side, we have our submission types and a way for you to easily configure exactly what you want there and subheadings underneath those as well. On the right-hand side, we have our steps. Steps can be informational steps. They can also be paying a fee, loading a document, filling out a form, requesting an inspection, etc. Right? But the way that we link these two together with no coding is with our rules, right? And so some rules, like this rule, there's certain steps that are going to appear in a guide of this submission type, right? No matter what, you're always going to have certain steps, and you can scroll to that step. This is a demo site, right? But also now other rules are based on how they answered a question. Another piece that isn't shown here is the system can ask itself questions based on your GIS. Is this location in a flood zone? Yes or no. Is this location within the city or county limits? Yes or no, right? Especially for counties that sometimes have incorporated cities that have their own system. If someone's trying to apply for a permit in the county but in an incorporated city, we could stop them as an example. But now coming to these various questions here, will the wall height exceed 10 feet? You can see that we can edit the connections, which is what's connected over here, delete or add, but also we can edit the conditions. So very simply, here's the question, will the wall height exceed 10 feet? It's a yes or no question, but you could easily change it to a number question, like how tall is your fence? Or a multiple choice, right? Where it's, where is the house going to be built in accordance to the main house, whatever. But in this example, it's a yes or no question, and we're going to include the steps if the answer is equal to yes. So if they answer yes, we're going to include the steps. If they answer no, we're not going to include the steps, right? Very easy for someone with basic knowledge of the logic of Clarity to be able to simply make those changes, right? Even coming back to our workflow engine, something we've already talked about, but the ability now with no coding to be able to easily change the direction of this workflow, to add a status step, right? Or even if we come into one of these status steps and come in here to more options, we can easily, here's the 3 reviews that are going to occur, but we can determine whether they're a department or an individual. We can determine whether it's a mandatory field or not. We can remove the review completely or add a new step, again, with no coding.